Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Eclectic Knitter Podcast. My name, of course, is Raylene. You can find show notes for this episode at theeclecticknitter.com. Episodes are uploaded to YouTube and iTunes. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Come On and Knits. It's been over 2 weeks. I was in Winnipeg last week visiting my family, as I stated previously, and it just didn't happen for recording. So that's fine. I've been back. I lost my job right before I left, so I'm working on packing and moving. Since I don't have anything keeping me in Saskatoon, I'm probably moving back to Winnipeg, but that's just something else. So I have a lot of finished objects. Some of them I don't have with me because I left them in Manitoba for their intended recipient. So yeah, here goes nothing. So I'll talk about the two things that I finished that I left in Manitoba. The first one was I finished my Madeline Tosh Twist Light socks in the Spicewood colorway for my mom. I tried going down a little bit shorter to 6.5 inches instead of 7.5 that I had been doing, and the first one fit really nicely, so I finished up the second one and gave that to her. Hi, honey. And then I also finished the tube socks that I was working on for my niece out of Knitterly Things Vesper Thick Sock in the Frost colorway, and I left those out there as well. So I don't have either of those, but you've seen at least a hoe for each of them in past episodes, so that's fine. I have a very needy co-host apparently right now because I'm talking and I'm not talking to him. It is Tuesday, November 21st, 2017. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon, and because of daylight savings time, I'm now on Central Standard Time. So, anyway, other finished objects. I finished my Lavender Loon Drink For Me and Live Forever socks. This is her 75-25 sock in the Drink For Me, Live Forever colorway, which is based on Interview with the Vampire, which is one of my favorite movies and favorite books. The book was written by Anne Rice in the 80s, before vampires were cool. I did a contrasting heel and toe. This is out of Boss Lady Yarns in a mini skein set that I got. I don't remember the colorway. They didn't have, once you take them out of the packaging, a lot of mini skeins don't have tags, so you're lucky I can remember the dyer. But Boss Lady Yarns is out of, I think, Calgary. She's in Canada. She's really awesome. So this mini skein went really nicely with the purples that are already in the skein. So yeah, those are done. This is my normal 64-inch plain vanilla sock with a, I do a Fish Lips Kiss heel if it's not self-striping, and the toe I do a modified toe from that the Yarn Harlot talked about on her blog. So it's a slightly more rounded toe than just decreasing 4 stitches every other row. So you do a decrease row, then you knit 5 straight, then you do a decrease row and you knit 4 straight, you do a decrease row, you knit 3 straight. And when I get down to 12 stitches on each needle, that's when I do Kitchener. And these were knit. I'm knitting socks for me on a US 1. I think that's a 2.25 millimeter needle, and when I knit socks for my mom, I do them on a size 0 with 64 stitches, and the gauge is just different enough that it fits her nicely, but 64 stitches on a US 0 2.0 millimeter are just too tight for me. So that's those are for myself. This is a project you have not seen and is already finished, so this is another pair of vanilla socks that I finished. These were knit out of a sock blank from Sinister Yarns in her Shifty sock in the Love Song colorway. And I did a contrasting heel and toe. This I do not remember who it was from. I think it was Blissful Knits Mini in a blue. Same vanilla sock, Fish Lips Kiss heel, modified toe. I love how this knit up. Like, absolutely love it, which is why they're done already. She's on vacation until December. Her shop has been closed most of fall, and they're supposed to be reopening in December, so she's on Etsy. This is, I think, the only thing I got. No, I think I got a skein of actual yarn too. I have no idea where it is. This was the only sock blank I got from her, but I really, really liked it. So that's that. And then I finished a pair of little Waiting for Winter mittens for my niece. These I didn't finish quite till I got home, so that's why I have them. This is the 4 to 8-year-old size. I modified them in 2 ways. So this pattern is by Susan B. Anderson. It is the kids version of her Waiting for Winter mitts. And how I modified it is similar to mine. So I knit a lining. The lining has been done out of Sweet Georgia Superwash Sport in the Smitten colorway. And the mitts themselves, the exterior, was knit out of Sweet Georgia Yarn Superwash Worsted in the Grape Jelly colorway. So I knit liners into both of them, and then I knit an I-cord to attach them. And I attached it, like I picked up stitches at the bottom and started working the I-cord, and then I attached it again, and then I attached it again at the top before I just started knitting I-cord. So I didn't sew it on, it's actually knit in on both mitts. It's attached quite far down, so I'm hoping it won't pull out. I don't think it will. And they haven't been washed yet, but they will grow a bit with washing. So that's those. This is just a 3-stitch I-cord. And I like Sweet Georgia Superwash Worsted on US 8s. So that's those. This was a very quick pattern, even with knitting a liner and the I-cord, it was still fairly quick. The last thing I finished, which has been washed and blocked, is I finished my worsted boxy. This is out of Madeline Tosh Pashmina worsted in the Clap Your Hands colorway. It is so soft. It's 2 pattern, so I did, as soon as I was done the decreases that it lists on the sleeve, it was at 6 inches, so I did, I think, 5 rows of that. I tried it on before I blocked it. I have not tried it on since I blocked it, but it fit nicely before it was blocked. Although it didn't look oversized really before it was blocked. Now I think it will. It grew quite a bit. Because it's worsted, knit at a really loose gauge, plus this is a merino silk cashmere blend, it definitely grew both widthwise and lengthwise, so that's good. I used, I did the largest size, which is 76-inch circumference, which is what the 3 largest sizes are all the same body circumference. It's just the sleeve circumference changes. And partly, oh, what was I going to say? That size calls for 1,400 yards. I had 7 skeins for it. I used 5.5. So for me, for a sweater, that's not much. And it actually knit up pretty quickly. I finished this in exactly a month. I cast off on the 19th, which was this past Sunday, and then I blocked it yesterday. So exactly a month to knit this. It's really nice, and it only uses like 1,100 yards for me. So that was awesome. I have another sweater quantity of Pashmina worsted in the Magic Lantern colorway that I also bought 7 skeins for. So I don't think I'll knit that one up. It's really close in colorway to this. It's another speckle. As I've stated previously, I did not alternate skeins, and it's not super noticeable, and frankly, I don't really care. So that is all my finished objects. Yay! 10 minutes in to finish objects. Which means there's not a lot for whips, let's be honest. So, Leaves of Grass I put on, I think, 2 rows. I didn't bring it because it's a present for my mom. I think you hear the dog. Maybe not. So I didn't bring that over. I think I attached 1 square and did a couple more squares for my granny blanket, but I didn't bring that over either. I brought 3 things. So the first thing is out of the leftovers for my niece's mitts, the Sweet Georgia Superwash worsted, I started a hat. This is the Spore hat by Jared Flood. This was out of Brooklyn Tweed Kids, which was released a couple years ago. It is a cabled hat. It starts off with a tubular cast on, as most of their stuff does. I don't normally do a tubular cast on, but I decided to try it for this, and I actually really like how it looks, so I may do that more often. So I am 1 and a bit rows into the cast, or the crown decrease chart, and I ran out of yarn. So I did order another skein. I tried to contact a couple people on Ravelry to see if they had, who listed leftovers in their stash, to see if they were willing to sell it. But one person had used all of them and the other person never got back to me. So I just bought another skein. So once that's done, you start off with a fair number. Like, my niece has a lot of hair. It's very curly and big. And this one in the pictures looked like it gets, like there's quite a few increases right after the ribbing, and it looked rather larger and slouchy, so that's what I'm doing for that. So I can't wait to get this finished. I would have been able to finish it in a day, but ran out of yarn, so I'm kind of upset about that, but what can you do, right? The second thing, living in a new Fat Squirrel Fibers project bag, is I picked up the Aquina scarf by Carrie Robb. This was in a Brooklyn Tweed publishing a while ago. I am doing this out of Beaver Slide Dry Goods in their worsted 2-ply merino mohair. Beaver Slide Dry Goods merino mohair 9010 in the Mountain Midnight colorway. I am knitting this on US size 8. That's a 5.0 millimeter needle. Because I just like how that is. This stitch marker is where I was last time I showed it, so I put on a good 4 inches. The unicorn stitch marker at the bottom is where I cast on my first full skein, or where I put in my first full skein. So I have another 2 skeins. I'm this far into the first full skein. I used the leftovers because I did mitts out of this yarn. It's part of a set for a friend. So I knit him a hat last winter. And then I knit the mitts, which are sitting up on the shelf somewhere, and then I'm doing this scarf all out of the same base. So, yeah, I have 2 more skeins. I'm hoping to see how far the first skein gets me. And I placed an order with Beaver Slide Dry Goods recently for some stuff for myself, and I ordered another 2 skeins just in case. Plus, I like this yarn, and it's pretty, and it feels nice, and I like the color, so that's how that's going. It's, you know, it looks kind of complicated, but really, you do the cable rows for these 2 side charts and the middle chart on the same row, and then you do a purl back row, and then on the next row these 2 sections are all just knit straight across, and then you do the cable crosses for these. So it's actually pretty simple, and it grows quite fast, so it's not that bad. I'm not really into scarves, which is too bad because Brooklyn Tweed releases such nice cabled scarf patterns, like the Guernsey wrap I really want to do, and a frise or something. There's just so many really nice rectangular stole scarf patterns, and I know I'm going to start them and they're going to be boring because it's just the same chart repeated for like 6 feet. So anyway, that got quite a bit of work actually yesterday. And then the last thing that I brought to show you is a new sock cast on, because why not? This is a skein that I got in the last week. This is the Yarn Jar 2-ply glitter in the Christmas Merry Mint colorway, like the flavor mint. And I'm almost done the first sock. This is how it, oh, excuse me, knits up. I'm almost going to start the toe pretty soon, I think. I don't know, I may do them a bit longer. We'll see. So those are the socks that I am working on. Once again, this is on US 1 2.25 millimeter needles, 64 stitches. Because they're self-striping, I will do an afterthought heel. This is another Fat Squirrel fiber bag, which is super furry, above dog fur. These are actually the 2 skeins I bought for that scarf. I have them sitting here for some reason. Whatever. I've been packing and reorganizing, and yeah, so the house is a mess. But yeah, that is about everything. I'm going to cut it short. I have stuff to do, so I will talk to you later. I accidentally had stopped too early. Have a good week or so. Bye.